Who deserves your shade on the ballot? Let's put the candidates to the test by checking their stand on the controversial reproductive health bill. No spin, no mudslinging, only the platform.
Condoms are a slippery issue for our presidential bets. Most of them either flip-flop on the reproductive health bill or support it, but with many buts. That's no surprise after Catholic bishops released guidelines discouraging their flock from voting for pro-RH candidates. Lakas Campis Gilberto Teodoro did a 180. He and his wife, Tarlac Representative Nikki Teodoro, a co-author of the bill, withdrew their support for the measure last year and echoed the church's stand.
It is the moral responsibility of those who do not want legislation to control population to do it themselves in the way they think it is moral.
Senator Noynoy Aquino stopped short of backing the bill, saying there are provisions he wants corrected. He says the state has a role in population control, but prefers to call his stand responsible parenthood.
Alala natin sa bawat magulang, may dinalaking anak. Sa mundong ito, meron kayong obligasyon na paaralin, pakainin, may tirahan na maayos, damitan at iba pa.
Like Aquino, Brother Eddie Villanueva, Nicanor Perlas, and Senator Jambi Madrigal do not fully support the RH bill, but believe government should educate couples about family planning options. For Senator Manny Villar, the RH bill is a no-no. Villar, a member of Couples for Christ, has been consistently against the measure.
That a huge population is not exactly a problem, not necessarily a problem. The problem is competence in managing our economy.
Bagong Bayan Senator Richard Gordon also opposes the RH bill. Gordon prefers limiting the number of children per family to 2.
Pag lumampas ka ng 2, 3 ka na, bayad ka na sa public school, bayad ka na sa ospital, wala nang born free.
JC De Los Reyes of Ang Kapatiran Party meanwhile brands the RH bill as anti-women and anti-poor.
Kasi pag pinamudmud mo yung condom sa mga kabataan, it promotes promiscuity, it promotes infidelity.
Then there's the curious case of former President Joseph Estrada. On paper, Estrada said in his platform that he will support the RH bill, but he gives a different answer when he's on stage.
Tutol na makialam ang gobyerno dyan. Dapat bigyan natin ng kalayaan ang bawat pamilya, lalo lang kababaihan.
Banana, chocolate, or vanilla. Some candidates' position on the RH bill seem to be as fickle as the flavor of the month.
Checking the platform tonight are Dr. Silvia Estrada Claudio, Director of the UP Center for Women's Studies, and Ramon San Pascual, Executive Director of the NGO Philippine Legislators Committee on Population and Development Foundation. We'll ask Sylvia and Mon to assess the candidate stands by giving them either a full, 3/4, half, quarter, or no shade in the ballot. Their ratings are based on 3 criteria: consistency, substance, and feasibility. On election day, voters will have to fully shade the ovals beside the names of their candidates of choice, so the PICOS machines will count their vote. Welcome to the platform. Now, introducing our guest tonight, we have Sylvia and Mon here. Let me begin this assessment by asking what qualifies you to make an assessment and to give a shade to the ballot of the candidates.
Yeah. Well, I am Professor of Women's Studies. Like Mon, I've been working on this issue for a couple of decades, perhaps more. And at the moment, I'm project leader of Watch Out When Women Vote, a project sponsored by the European Union precisely on these issues.
Okay, and Mon?
It was PLCPD who introduced the bill in 2001, and I've been working in this organization for more than 10 years. And been the executive director for 5 years.
Okay.
And we're really monitoring what every presidential candidate is saying about the RH bill.
All right, the RH bill has been used as an issue in these elections. Why is it so important, and why is it being used as an election issue?
Because once the president is elected, then he has to confront again this issue when we refile the bill in Congress. And it is a very contentious issue. We admit it is a contention between the Church, the Catholic Church particularly, and the will of the legislators to finally address reproductive health concerns.
Okay, you also said, I mean, you've made comments that this is really a test of character of the presidential candidates. Why is it a test of character?
Yes, it is, because the surveys have shown that you don't really lose that much support if you take a pro-RH bill stand. And if you look at the records of PLCPD, for example, many of these candidates have been supportive of the bill. I think that it's a test of character because once you enter into the electoral process, you either ask yourself, am I going to go for the very last vote? Ang biruan nga kahit sino bang botanteng nakatayo dyan. Or you actually say, okay, at the risk of losing a certain number of votes, because you will, I will be, however, walk my talk and consistent with previous policy stance.
Having said that, let's now run the test. Let's actually run this test on the platform. And let's begin with survey frontrunner Senator Noynoy Aquino, who is, what as he says, for responsible parenthood. Let's listen to this.
And the responsible parenthood basically says, each parent should be reminded, paalala natin sa bawat magulang, may dinalaking anak, sa mundong ito, meron kayong obligasyon na paaralin, pakainin, may tirahan na maayos, damitan at iba pa.
All right, Sylvia, on that point, you gave him a score of?
A half shade, because I think he waffled on this one.
How did he waffle?
If you look at previous positions, he was clearer about his support for reproductive health and the reproductive health bill.
Okay.
Now, he doesn't look at this point like he's completely against it, so he hasn't been betrayed himself completely. Nonetheless, he has made nuances that allow him to sort of court the other side. And I will just add that what we need from our presidential candidates is clear-cut policy positions in the light of the great controversy around this issue, which has also become an issue that's fraught. And we'll talk about later how some of the positions of the other candidates have nothing to do about reproductive health.
Okay, Mon, you gave him
The full shade.
The full shade. Why the full shade?
I see Noynoy as the most consistent. We don't only count during the official campaign period, but even way back in October, when they already declared themselves as available and would run. And Noynoy has not backed out of espousing for responsible parenthood, of stating what exactly was his role in terms of the reproductive health bill, and now lately in saying that he would support legislation that would address population and family planning concerns.
Okay, and he has been consistent.
And he's the most